Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Nepal, a country known for its rich tapestry of cultures and religions, has a fascinating but often overlooked Islamic heritage. Our journey begins with the historical roots of Islam in Nepal, tracing its spread from the earliest Muslim settlers to the present day. We'll then dive into the numbers, examining the size and composition of Nepal's Muslim population based on recent surveys. Moving beyond statistics, we'll paint a picture of daily life for Muslims across different regions of Nepal, highlighting their occupations, cultural practices, and community structures. No story is complete without acknowledging challenges, and we'll explore the various issues facing Nepal's Muslim population, from economic disparities to questions of identity and representation. Finally, we'll tackle the sensitive topic of Islamophobia, examining whether it exists in Nepal, how it manifests, and the efforts to promote interfaith harmony. Through this comprehensive look at Muslims in Nepal, we aim to provide a nuanced understanding of a community that has long been an integral part of Nepal's diverse social fabric. Let's begin this journey of discovery, shedding light on an often underrepresented aspect of Nepali society. The story of Islam's arrival and spread in Nepal is a fascinating blend of trade, cultural exchange, and gradual integration. It's a tale that spans centuries and reflects the complex tapestry of South Asian history. The first Muslims are believed to have arrived in Nepal around the 15th century, during the reign of King Ratnamala. These early Muslim settlers were primarily traders and artisans from Kashmir and northern India. They were drawn to Nepal by the opportunities for commerce, particularly in the bustling markets of the Kathmandu Valley. But it wasn't just traders who brought Islam to Nepal. Sufi mystics also played a significant role. These spiritual seekers were often welcomed by local rulers and common people alike, as their message of divine love and inner spirituality resonated with many. Some of these Sufis settled in Nepal, establishing small communities and slowly introducing Islamic teachings to the local population. The Muslim population in Nepal grew gradually over the centuries. During the Malla period, 12th to 18th centuries, Muslim artisans were often invited to Nepal for their skills in metalwork, textiles, and other crafts. Some of these artisans settled permanently, contributing to the growth of the Muslim community. The spread of Islam in Nepal wasn't the result of conquest or forced conversion, as it was in some other parts of South Asia. Instead, it was a more organic process, driven by trade, cultural exchange, and voluntary conversion. This peaceful integration has contributed to the generally harmonious relationship between Muslims and other religious communities in Nepal. In the Terai region, which borders India, the Muslim population grew more rapidly. This was partly due to migration from northern India, especially after the Indian Rebellion of 1857, when many Indian Muslims sought refuge in Nepal. During the Shah dynasty and the subsequent Rana regime, 1768 to 1951, Muslims in Nepal maintained a low profile. While they weren't actively persecuted, they also weren't fully integrated into the Hindu-dominated political and social structures of the time. The modern era has seen significant changes for Nepal's Muslim community. The establishment of democracy in 1990 and the end of the Hindu monarchy in 2008 have opened up new opportunities for religious minorities, including Muslims. Today, Muslims are recognized as an integral part of Nepal's multicultural society, though challenges remain. It's worth noting that the history of Islam in Nepal is not monolithic. Different regions have their own unique stories. For instance, the Muslim communities in the mountainous western regions often trace their origins to Tibetan Muslim traders, while those in the eastern Terai have stronger connections to Bengali Muslim traditions. This rich and varied history has resulted in a diverse Muslim community in Nepal today, with influences from various Islamic traditions across South and Central Asia. Understanding this historical context is crucial for appreciating the current situation of Muslims in Nepal and the unique character of Nepali Islam. All right, let's dive deeper into the numbers and demographics of Muslims in Nepal. This is where things get really interesting and sometimes a bit tricky, because getting precise figures can be challenging. According to the most recent official census data we have, which is from 2011, Muslims make up about 4.4% of Nepal's total population. In raw numbers, that's approximately 1.16 million people out of Nepal's total population of around 26 million at that time. This makes Islam the second largest minority religion in Nepal after Hinduism, which is the majority, and Buddhism. Now, it's important to note that these numbers are likely to have changed since 2011. The Muslim population in Nepal, like many minority groups, has been growing at a slightly faster rate than the national average. Some unofficial estimates suggest that the current Muslim population might be closer to 5% or even 6% of the total population, but we'd need to wait for the next official census to confirm this. When it comes to the breakdown between Sunni and Shia Muslims, things get a bit murky. The Nepali census doesn't differentiate between different Islamic sects, so we have to rely on estimates and smaller-scale studies. The general consensus among researchers is that the vast majority of Nepali Muslims, probably around 95%, are Sunni. The remaining 5% or so are primarily Shia, with a very small number belonging to other Islamic sects or movements. It's worth noting that within the Sunni majority, there's quite a bit of diversity. You'll find followers of various schools of Islamic jurisprudence, as well as adherents to different Sufi orders. The Shia community, while small, is also diverse, including both Twelver Shias and some Ismaili communities. Geographically, the Muslim population isn't evenly distributed across Nepal. The highest concentration of Muslims is found in the Terai region, the southern plains bordering India. Districts like Banke, Kapilvastu, Rupandehi, and Parsa have particularly significant Muslim populations, in some cases making up 15 to 20% of the local population. In the hill and mountain regions, the Muslim population is generally much smaller, often less than 1% of the local population. However, you'll find pockets of Muslim communities in urban areas like Kathmandu, Pokhara, and Biratnagar. Another interesting demographic aspect is the age structure of the Muslim population. On average, the Muslim community in Nepal tends to be younger than the national average, with a higher proportion of children and young adults. This could potentially lead to further growth of the Muslim population in the coming decades. It's also worth mentioning that these numbers don't capture the full complexity of religious identity in Nepal. There are people who may have Muslim heritage but don't actively practice the religion, as well as converts to Islam from other faiths. These nuances aren't always reflected in official statistics. Lastly, keep in mind that demographics can be a sensitive topic, especially when it comes to religious minorities. Some groups might claim higher or lower numbers for various reasons, so it's always good to approach these figures with a critical eye and consider multiple sources. All in all, while Muslims are a minority in Nepal, they form a significant and growing part of the country's religious landscape. Their demographic presence, particularly in certain regions, makes them an important part of Nepal's social and cultural fabric. All right, let's dive into the daily lives and activities of Muslims in Nepal. This is where we really get to see how Islam is woven into the fabric of Nepali society. First off, it's important to understand that the Muslim experience in Nepal isn't monolithic. It varies quite a bit depending on where you are in the country. In the Terai region, especially in districts like Banke, Kapilvastu, and Rupandehi, you'll find larger, more established Muslim communities. Here, Islamic culture is more visible in daily life. You'll see more mosques, madrasas, and people openly wearing traditional Islamic dress. In these areas, many Muslims work in agriculture, often as small landholders or tenant farmers. They grow crops like rice, wheat, and vegetables. There's also a significant number involved in small businesses, running shops, working as traders, or in various skilled trades like carpentry or metalwork. In urban areas like Kathmandu or Biratnagar, the Muslim population is more diverse in terms of occupation. You'll find Muslims working in all sorts of fields, as doctors, teachers, engineers, and in the service industry. There's a growing Muslim middle class in these cities, with people increasingly entering professional careers. Education is a big focus for many Muslim families. You'll find Islamic schools, madrasas, alongside regular schools in many Muslim-majority areas. These madrasas teach Islamic studies alongside the national curriculum. In recent years, there's been a push to modernize these schools and ensure students are prepared for higher education and diverse career paths. Daily religious practices are an important part of life for many Nepali Muslims. The call to prayer can be heard from mosques in Muslim neighborhoods, and you'll see people heading to the mosque for daily prayers, especially the Friday congregational prayer. During Ramadan, many Muslims fast from dawn to sunset, and you'll notice a festive atmosphere in Muslim areas during iftar, the breaking of the fast. Community life often revolves around the mosque, which serves not just as a place of worship, but as a community center. It's where people gather for religious education, to discuss community issues, and to celebrate festivals like Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. These festivals are major events in Muslim areas, with families coming together for special meals and exchanging gifts. In terms of cuisine, Nepali Muslim food is a fascinating mix of local Nepali flavors and influences from wider South Asian Islamic culinary traditions. You'll find dishes like biryani and various meat curries that are particularly associated with Muslim communities. Interestingly, many Nepali Muslims have maintained their local cultural practices alongside their Islamic faith. For example, you might see Muslim women wearing colorful saris with headscarves, blending local dress with Islamic modesty requirements. There's often a mix of Nepali and Urdu or Arabic names among community members. In terms of where Muslims live, as mentioned earlier, the largest concentrations are in the Terai region. But you'll find Muslim communities scattered across Nepal, even in some remote hill and mountain areas. In cities, there are often specific neighborhoods known for having larger Muslim populations. It's worth noting that many Nepali Muslims are actively involved in interfaith activities, working to build bridges with their Hindu, Buddhist, and Christian neighbors. You'll often see Muslim leaders participating in national events and dialogues about Nepal's religious diversity. One unique aspect of Muslim life in Nepal is the influence of Sufi traditions. You'll find several Sufi shrines across the country, which are visited not just by Muslims, but by people of other faiths too. These shrines often become centers of local culture and folklore. Overall, the daily life of Muslims in Nepal is a vibrant blend of religious observance, cultural traditions, and engagement with the broader Nepali society. While they maintain their distinct identity, Nepali Muslims are very much part of the country's diverse social tapestry. All right, let's delve into the challenges and problems faced by the Muslim population in Nepal. It's a complex situation, with issues ranging from socioeconomic disparities to questions of identity and representation. One of the most pressing issues is economic marginalization. Many Muslims, especially in rural areas, struggle with poverty and lack of economic opportunities. There's a noticeable gap in terms of income and standard of living compared to some other communities. This is partly due to historical factors. Many Muslims have traditionally worked in lower-paying sectors like agriculture or small-scale trade. Breaking out of this cycle of economic disadvantage has been tough for many families. Education is another big challenge. While there's been progress, Muslim communities often lag behind in terms of educational attainment. This is particularly true for girls and women. There are various reasons for this. Poverty, which makes it hard for families to afford education, lack of schools in some Muslim-majority areas, and in some cases, cultural attitudes that don't prioritize education, especially for girls. The quality of education in madrasas has also been a point of debate, with concerns that some don't adequately prepare students for the modern job market. Political representation is an ongoing issue. Muslims are often underrepresented in government bodies, civil service, and other positions of power. This lack of representation can make it harder for Muslim communities to have their voices heard and their specific needs addressed in policymaking. There's also the challenge of preserving cultural and religious identity while integrating into the broader Nepali society. Some Muslims feel caught between maintaining their Islamic traditions and adapting to the predominantly Hindu culture around them. This can be especially challenging for young people trying to navigate their identity. Language can be a barrier for some. Many Nepali Muslims speak Urdu or other minority languages at home, which can sometimes put them at a disadvantage in education and employment where Nepali is the primary language. Access to healthcare is another concern, particularly in rural areas where Muslim communities are concentrated. Some Muslim-majority areas lack adequate health facilities, and there can be cultural barriers to accessing healthcare, especially for women. Discrimination, while not widespread, does occur. Some Muslims report facing prejudice in areas like employment or housing. There's also the issue of stereotyping. Muslims are sometimes viewed with suspicion, especially in the context of global concerns about Islamic extremism, despite the Nepali Muslim community's long history of peaceful coexistence. Legal issues can be complex. While Nepal is officially a secular state, some aspects of the legal system still reflect Hindu traditions. This can create challenges in areas like inheritance law or personal status law for Muslims. Another significant challenge is the lack of accurate data and research on the Muslim community. This makes it harder to understand and address their specific needs and issues. There's also the issue of internal diversity within the Muslim community. Different groups, Sunni, Shia, various ethnic subgroups, can have different needs and perspectives, which aren't always recognized in broad policy approaches. Natural disasters, like the 2015 earthquake, have hit some Muslim communities hard. Rebuilding efforts haven't always reached these communities effectively, exacerbating existing economic challenges. Lastly, there's the ongoing challenge of countering extremism. While radical Islam isn't a major issue in Nepal, there are concerns about potential radicalization, especially among unemployed youth. Community leaders work hard to promote moderate interpretations of Islam and to counter any extremist influences. These challenges are interconnected and complex. Many Muslim community leaders and civil society organizations are working to address these issues, but progress can be slow. It's a situation that requires ongoing attention and effort from both the Muslim community and Nepali society as a whole. All right, let's tackle the sensitive topic of Islamophobia in Nepal. It's a complex issue that requires careful consideration. First off, it's important to note that Nepal has a long history of religious tolerance and peaceful coexistence between different faiths. The country doesn't have the same level of organized, widespread Islamophobia that you might see in some other parts of the world. However, that doesn't mean it's entirely absent. Islamophobia in Nepal often takes more subtle forms. It's less about outright hostility and more about underlying prejudices and stereotypes. Some people view Muslims as outsiders or not truly Nepali, despite the community's centuries-long presence in the country. This perception can lead to social exclusion and discrimination in everyday life. There have been isolated incidents of communal tension. For example, in 2016, there were clashes in Kapilvastu district after rumors spread about cow slaughter. Cows are sacred to Hindus. While these incidents are rare, they highlight the potential for religious tensions to flare up. Some right-wing Hindu groups have occasionally pushed anti-Muslim rhetoric, accusing Muslims of having divided loyalties between Nepal and other Muslim-majority countries. These groups are generally fringe elements, but their voice can sometimes be amplified through social media. In recent years, global events and the rise of Islamic extremism in other countries have had some impact on perceptions of Muslims in Nepal. Some people, influenced by international media, have begun to view their Muslim neighbors with unwarranted suspicion. This has led to instances of profiling and discrimination, particularly in urban areas. There's also a more structural form of Islamophobia that manifests in the underrepresentation of Muslims in government, media, and other influential sectors. While this isn't always due to overt discrimination, it reflects deeper biases within society. It's worth noting that there isn't really a prominent, organized anti-Islam movement in Nepal. Unlike in some countries, you won't find political parties running on explicitly anti-Muslim platforms. However, some politicians have occasionally used divisive rhetoric for political gain. The fight against Islamophobia in Nepal is largely led by civil society organizations, both Muslim and non-Muslim. These groups work to promote interfaith dialogue, educate the public about Islam, and combat stereotypes. They organize events, workshops, and media campaigns to foster understanding between communities. Many Muslim community leaders are actively engaged in building bridges with other religious groups. They participate in interfaith councils and collaborate on social issues, which helps to counter negative perceptions. The Nepali government, while not always proactive on this issue, has laws against religious discrimination. However, enforcement can be inconsistent, and many Muslims feel these protections aren't always adequate in practice. Education is seen as a key tool in combating Islamophobia. There are efforts to include more accurate and positive information about Islam and Muslim contributions to Nepali society in school curricula. Media representation is another battleground. Some Muslim organizations are working to increase positive visibility of Muslims in Nepali media and to challenge stereotypical portrayals. It's important to note that many Nepalis across religious lines actively reject Islamophobia and stand up for their Muslim neighbors. There's a strong current of inclusivity in Nepali culture that serves as a bulwark against more extreme forms of religious intolerance. The situation is evolving. With increased internet access and exposure to global media, there's potential for both increased understanding and increased misinformation. Muslim community leaders are increasingly using social media and other platforms to counter negative narratives and share positive stories about Muslim life in Nepal. Overall, while Islamophobia exists in Nepal, it's generally less severe than in many other countries. The challenge lies in addressing the more subtle, structural forms of discrimination and ensuring that Nepal's tradition of religious harmony continues to thrive in the face of global and local pressures. As we come to the end of our journey exploring the rich and complex world of Muslims in Nepal, I hope this video has given you a deeper understanding of this vibrant community. From their historical roots stretching back centuries to the challenges and triumphs they face today, the story of Islam in Nepal is one of resilience, diversity, and ongoing evolution. Whether you're learning about Nepal's religious tapestry for the first time, or you're looking to deepen your knowledge of South Asian cultures, there's always more to discover. The experiences of Nepali Muslims remind us of the beautiful complexity of our world and the importance of fostering understanding between different communities. If you found this video informative and engaging, I'd love for you to be a part of our growing community. By subscribing to this channel, you'll get access to more in-depth explorations of diverse cultures, religions, and social issues from around the globe. Hit that subscribe button to join us on our next journey of discovery. And remember, knowledge is the bridge that connects us all. By learning about each other, we take steps towards a more understanding and inclusive world. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.